Hello and welcome to the Grianaig Creations podcast channel. This is episode 78. My name is Kirsty and I am coming to you from Paisley, which if you don't know where that is, it's fairly close to Glasgow in Scotland. We're doing this podcast a bit abruptly. Sorry, I was just checking my phone. We're doing this podcast a bit abruptly. I knew I wanted to podcast today, which is Sunday the 10th of October. I wanted to podcast today. My camera's got a full charge in it. I've got all my projects ready. But at the same point, I haven't given it any thought. Like, I don't know what order I want to do things in. I just haven't thought this through at all. So this is just being done off the cuff. If it seems a bit disjointed, bear with me. I have never done project notes, but I've always kind of had an idea of how I'm going to proceed through the podcast. So that being said, I have one finished object I can show off, two I'm going to kind of like do a sneak peek of, and then I've got three works in progress. No, four. Four works in progress, because the one is right here. I've got four works in progress that I'm going to share with you as well, and then I've got one new thing that's come into the house, and then we're going to do the giveaway prize winner from the Perth Festival of Yarn episode, and then we're just going to have some chatter. So if that sounds like anything that would interest you, I really hope you'll stick through to the end with us. So, the first finished object that I can share with you is all down with, why did I choose those words? It's all to do with the GC Halloween Sock Along 21. So for those that are not sure on what that is, last year I ran a sock along that if you had Halloween themed yarn or you had a pattern that was kind of aimed at Halloween, then we were going to cast on the 1st of October. You didn't have to cast on exactly the 1st of October, but anywhere between the 1st and the 31st of October, we were going to be casting on some socks. You do not have to finish the socks. As long as you've got them cast on, then it really doesn't matter. It's more just the spirit of the make along and to get into the Halloween spirit as well, because I personally love Halloween. It is pretty much one of my favourite times of the year, and I just love a lot of the Halloween colourways that a lot of the indie dyers have come out with. So my pair of socks was going to be a bit different this year. I put out a sort of poll across all my platforms, so on here on Instagram, this is YouTube. On YouTube, I put out that people could put in the comments what yarn they wanted me to use. On Instagram, I put out a post and people were just putting in the comments as well. And then again, the same on the Facebook group. So I had 10 yarns, 10 indie dyed yarns that were Halloween themed. And then I had my plot twist yarn, which was a hand spun yarn. And this is what the hand spun yarn looks like. And I put it out there saying, you can all pick what yarn I use to cast on my pair of socks. And a lot of you all came back saying, I really want to pick this yarn, but I want to see what the hand spun knits up like. So I took that as 2 votes, and I put it down for the yarn you wanted, but then also that you wanted the hand spun. So in a way it looked like more people voted than there was, but I was being true to it. People really wanted to see an indie dyed one knit up, but they also wanted to see what the hand spun looked like knit up. So with the overwhelming majority, we cast on with the hand spun. And I actually have finished my pair of socks, and this is me in no way gloating, but I managed to get these knit up in 7 days. It took me until the night of the 7th to get them finished, and I probably could have got them finished quicker had I been in a bit of a, I don't want to say a better mood last week, but I felt kind of like I was in a daze all week. and I was just going through the motion of the week in autopilot, if that makes sense. And there was a lot of time where I would just sit on my phone and I would scroll, and it was a very off week for me, and I can't pinpoint why or what caused it. So I probably could have got them done quicker, but it is what it is. It's not a race. You do not have to finish your sock to take part. You could do one sock and still have the second sock to go, or you can just cast on and like finish them in 3 to 6 months time. I don't really care. As long as you're taking part, that's the main thing. So here is the first sock. Oh. And can I just show off that sparkle? Like, is that not beautiful? So that is Angelina that I put into the Rolex, and I maybe put too much Angelina in, but you know what? Like, I really like this. It's so sparkly and it's so pretty. I made these socks ever so slightly different. I really wasn't sure how I was going to like this yarn knit up, and so I did cast on with the possibility of my mum liking them more than me. So I cast on for my mum's size, which is just a wee bit up from me, and then I decreased down when I started seeing how it was knitting up and after speaking with my mum. And she's like, no, you've knit them for you, just you have them. And so I eventually decreased down to my size, and do you know what? I love them. I really, really love them. They're completely different, as I'll show you the second one in a moment, but I really, really love them. So this was the first one. I've done a slip stitch heel flap and gusset in black, so you can't really see any of the details. And then I've done my rounded toe. And I just really like it, and it's so roomy and it's so comfortable, and I actually really like how I've done the leg of this sock. So because I cast it on bigger, I feel like it definitely fits my calf better, and it is longer than I would normally do a sock. So normally I think my socks would come up to about here. So having that extra length is actually really nice. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make more socks longer in future, because normally my socks are, like I say, like max up to about here with the cuff. So having this one longer, I don't know, maybe I'll just make a couple longer for winter. Who knows? So that's sock 1. And then sock 2 is on the blocker. I just love how it sparkles, like you can really see that sparkle. So this is sock 2, and it looks so different compared to sock 1. And I kind of love it. Like, you know they're like sisters and not twins, like it's so obvious. And it's just like, I just feel like these are like the perfect Halloween socks, because they just totally don't match, like at all. They're so different. I just love them. They make me very happy, let's put it that way. They make me very, very happy. So yeah, that's my first pair. You will see my next pair, or my next one sock, in the whips. So like I said at the start, I can only really show you little snippets of these ones because it's the pattern I've been working on. I have a shawl pattern that I have made, and it is currently with some testers, and it's like, I am ridiculously proud of this pattern. It makes me very happy, and I have actually said to my testers, like, please let me know if you have seen this kind of pattern before, this construction. And so far all of them have come back and said no. So that makes me very happy. So I'm only going to show you a little snippet. So that's the first one. So it literally is only a little snippet. Like, there's no easy way for me to show this, like, If I show more, you'll see the construction. If I show less, you'll just be like, what am I looking at? So this is the first one I made. This is in 4-ply. And this was knit in... I put it away. Like, I literally had the ball band before I sat down. It was on what the camera is sitting on just now. And then obviously I've tidied up so that I can record, and I've put the ball band away. I didn't think that through. So that was in 4-ply, and then I made one in DK, and wow, is it squishy. It makes me very happy. Also the colour makes me very happy, and this is number 2. So this is the DK version, and this is yarn that I dyed, and this is dyed yarn that I had left over from when I was selling my hand dyed. And I'm a little annoyed at myself in the sense that I really wanted to save that. 1 minute. I'm sorry. I really wanted to save this yellow yarn because I have 5 skeins of it for I don't think I'd get a full top out of it, but I wanted some sort of garment with that yarn. And I had yarn in mind for this DK version, and I was so sure I had 3 skeins of it, but I only had 2. And I just wasn't sure the 2 skeins would be enough. And I was right. I went into the 3rd skein, not by a huge amount, which is disappointing, because I would hate to put out a pattern where you only need like a small percentage of the 3rd skein. So I'm going to work on the pattern, even though it's with testers, I'm going to work on a pattern to be like, right, if you want to use exactly 2 skeins of DK weight that's 225 meters, this is how many rows you need to work, and this is how you need to distribute your yarn. So I'm a wee bit miffed that I ended up using this yarn for the shawl, but, and it's a big but, I'm ridiculously happy with the results, because the yellow is just so happy. Like, that sounds ridiculous, but yellow is a happy colour for me. I have some sadness attached to yellow, but that's a private matter. But to me, yellow is a happy colour, and I have plans to take finished object photos with this next weekend, and I will explain at the end. And I can't wait. I just can't wait. It's going to be great. Well, it's going to be okay, because I'm going to be the model in it, so it's going to be okay. It would be better if it was somebody else. But I am ridiculously happy with these projects. I am also crazy proud of them, and I want to make like so many more. And if I have time, I'm going to be making them for Christmas presents, probably for quite a few people in my life, because I'm that crazy proud of the pattern, and the construction I just feel like wouldn't confuse non-shawl wearers. So really, really happy. God, my throat's gone again. I get crazy allergies in the winter seasons, like in autumn and winter. I get these crazy allergies, and I have to take like a nasal spray, but it's just not helping this time around. Okay, where to start? As she cracks her knuckles. Sorry if nobody likes that, like, I probably should put a warning in there. Okay, so we're going to start with the second GC Halloween Sock Along 21 socks. And for my second sock, I chose the next runner-up yarn, and that was Hey J Yarns Pumpkin King. This is a micro stripe yarn. I have the ball band here. So this is the Ultimate Sock Yarn Pumpkin King, 80% superwash blue face Leicester, 20% nylon, 365 meters. And it is, as I've said, a micro striping yarn. So it's working up really fun. Like, I really, really like this. Now the only thing is, I did not do this sock the way I done my first Halloween sock, which is I did not do it a size up. I done it my usual 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles, and that's fine. Like, I have to pick up the yarn. I like how it's working up. I think it looks really, really interesting. Had I done it on the 68 stitches, I feel like it would really, I don't know, I just feel like it would maybe look a wee bit better. But I like how it looks just now. So I've started the heel flap. As much as I hate working the heel flap, it's definitely my preferred heel. It fits me a lot better. I feel it's a lot more comfortable, but I just don't like how long it takes. I do all my socks on a 9-inch circular needle. That's what these are, sticking out the side. But when it comes to the heel flap and gusset, I can do it on the 9-inch circular, but it's quite a tight fit. So I actually prefer to do the heel flap and gusset on a longer cable needle. I just hit that off my nose. So yeah, I do work the slip stitch heel and gusset on a longer cable, and then once I pick up round the heel flap, I go straight back onto my 9-inch circulars. And then when it comes to the toe, again, I just put it on the longer cable and work the toe. I just don't like having to constantly kind of shift the cable to get to the next lot of needles. I just much prefer the 9-inch circular, and I'm just going. Just leave me to it after that. I am fine. I can put a movie on and just not have to worry about it instead of having to footer with a cable. Personal preference. So that is HJ Yarns Pumpkin King, and this is just King Cole Zigzag 4-ply sock yarn that my mama bear got me. Okay, I'm going to show this one off next. So, who remembers the mystery knit along that I started that was the Trig Point cowl, and that is by Maddie Harvey. That cowl, or mystery cowl, finished months ago. And I finished on Clue 2. And then I put it down. I ended up using one of the needles somewhere for something else, so I had to go hunting for a needle. And I picked it back up because I saw the project bag sitting in this room. And I had to sit for at least an hour trying to be like, where did I leave this off? What on earth was I doing next? And for the life of me, I just couldn't figure it out. And it was so simple once I had realised. I was just like, well, duh, like, why did that not occur to me before now? So I have picked it up. I've picked up 1/2. And I've put in Clue 3. So this is no longer a mystery, but if you are working it and you have not looked ahead and you have not seen the finished objects, look away now and I'll tell you when you can look back. So I finished off here. So I'd done, this is the first side, and then I'd done the second side, which I will show off, but it's now a clue behind where this one is. So that's what it looked like when I finished. And I've now put in Clue 3 for side 1. And for those wondering, these are 2 Shawlography Ellen yarns, or Mrs. Lamb's yarns. And then this is what the other side looks like, because I have them on two separate needles. So this is what the other side looks like, which is only to the end of clue 2. So I will pick this back up again, because I actually really enjoyed putting in clue 3, and I really do want the finished object. It's just I have so much on the go just now, and it's almost like trying to prioritise what I want to work on, and sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. The majority of the time it doesn't win, let's face it. Because I have other projects on the go that I really, really, really want to work on, such as the following, which has been kept in a really cool bag. I told you, Halloween is like one of my favourites. So, Gemma of the... Oh, my phone's going again. Gemma of the Midnight Dyer is doing a great winter cast on with Ellen of Shawlography Ellen. And I hope what I've cast on counts. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I did not read the rules, and that's on me. And I have cast on the ranunculus. I have only wanted to make this since forever, and I have to thank my dear friend Hannah for gifting the pattern to me. And I'm not going to lie, at the moment it looks like garbage, but it's on a very small circular needle and cable. The start looks a bit wonky because I genuinely think I've actually dropped a stitch somewhere, because I have a very large gap at the start. But I hated the start of this project, hated it. I actually almost ripped the whole thing out and just put it down because I really did not like the start of this. I am doing it in lace weight yarn, and you work it on 6mm needles. And I tried to do it on a circular needle, and I realised that where I was having to do magic loop, I was getting a very large gap, regardless of pulling the yarn tight. I was getting a very, very large gap when I was doing it on magic loop. So then I set out to try it on DPNs, and that was an absolute joke. I really hated it, but I persevered, I stuck with it, and I now have this. And again, it's on a very small cable, but I kind of love it. How am I going to do this? Here we go. Ah! So it doesn't really look like much just now, and I'm hoping that once I progress further and get the sleeves split off, that this is just going to look really good. So we will see how this progresses, because you can't really see too much detail. Oh no, there we go, there you can see some of the detail right there. But because it's on lace weight, it is a bit of a pain, and because there is like lace detail and there's work that needs my attention, I can't just sit with something on in the background. So that's a pain. And that's why it's not received a ton of love ever since the start of the cast on, so the Great Winter cast on. But yeah, I am enjoying it. I just really hated the start, and it's a shame because I kind of want to make one in every size. So I kind of want to do a 4-ply, but I also really want to do like an iron weight one. I'm more likely to do the iron weight one than I am to do the 4-ply, because I feel like I'd have the same sort of issues with the cast on if I done it in 4-ply, whereas I don't think I'd have anywhere near the issues I have had if I was to do it in iron weight. So we'll see, but this is where I think I've dropped a stitch. So you can see here where my finger's kind of poking through. Like, there seems to be like a really big gap. Like here. And that's not a yarn over. I've done something. And I don't like it. I think it looks funny. So thankfully it's right at the back of the sweater, so if anyone's looking at my back that closely, then that's just weird. Okay, so let's try and get the last work in progress done, and then I'm going to stop the camera because I'm running out of room or time. So of course, the next work in progress is the Mahusive blankets that is taking over my life. Yep, it's huge. It's still not finished. It's taking a lot of my energy to want to work on this, but it is a commission after all, so I do need to do it, and I don't think I'm too far off calling it done. I need to lay it on the floor again and check, but last time I really wasn't that far off. So I put 3 rows on it yesterday, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a big blanket. It takes a lot to put 1 round in. So I need to lay it on the floor. I'm sure I left a measuring tape up here. So yeah, I need to lay it out on the floor, measure it, and calculate how many more rows I need to do. And then I can call it done. I can weave in all the ends. I can't really block it because it's acrylic, but I will probably just pin it out anyway because it is a granny stripe stitch, so I could try and pin it and stretch it just a little bit, at least just to make it nice and even on the sides. And then I'll contact the person that commissioned it and see, because I think he's up north just now because he was training for his new job, and then hopefully I'll be able to catch him before he starts his actual job because he's going to be an HGV driver, which, if anyone's in the UK, is sorely needed right now. So yeah, blanket of, I don't want to say doom because that sounds really bad, but like this blanket is never ending. Thankfully for such a big blanket, it's not that heavy, which is really, really good, because the last thing you want is to make a blanket and it's just ridiculously heavy. So yep, just gotta pin it out, well, lay it down, stretch it out a wee bit, measure it, and see if it's close to the size that they have requested, which I think it is. I think it does need just at least a couple more rows, and then we'll see. So I'm going to stop this because I only have just under 2 minutes left before my camera will stop. I'm going to pull out the giveaway prize, I'm going to draw the winner, and then we're going to do that and some chit chat. So I will be right back, but you guys will hardly notice I'm gone. Welcome back. So before we go into the giveaway, I'm going to show off something I did get in that I ordered. So for those that might remember, I placed a custom order with my friend Ellen for a massive project bag, and boy did she deliver. This is the size of my project bag. So I asked Ellen for a significantly sized bag for blankets, because we all know how much I love a good blanket, and I just don't have the storage capabilities for them in the form of bags. So when I was at Perth, I did have a good look because she said that she had some blanket size bags, but it wasn't quite the size I was after. And so I requested a custom bag with her with this specific fabric, which is her Grumpy Cats. And that's her badge there. So I specifically requested this Grumpy Cats pattern because I think it's absolutely adorable. And then she also sent me some pictures. I loved this mustard yellow. we're going to go with yellow gingham. So we've got some yellow gingham on the inside, and it's a drawstring, and I did request handles, and she has put those in, which is brilliant. I wasn't always a handle person when it comes to my project bags, but recently I'm starting to come around to them. So she put in some handles for me, and it is a fantastic size. Like, I can fit this in no bother at all. I haven't put it in neatly, right enough, but I can fit that in and still completely draw it shut. And you've seen the size of that blanket. It is not tiny by any means. So that's brilliant. I'm so happy to have that. So if anyone wants custom bags, please contact Ellen. Like, she is on Instagram, but I will link her down below. She does take custom orders so you can get the bag that you want. Okay. You're probably all sitting on the edge of your seat wanting to find out who the giveaway winner is. There was quite a few entries for it, but I've excluded some of them because they did not follow the prompt, and I was very clear in one of my other podcasts where if you don't follow the prompt, you're not getting included in the podcast giveaway. And I feel like that is perfectly reasonable because there was literally one prompt that went off into two branches, and there was quite a few people that didn't follow the prompt. So I have excluded those. If you are unhappy with that, then take it somewhere else because this is my podcast. But yep, I have drawn the winner using random.org. Was it random.org? Yep, random.org. And the lucky winner is Laura Devlin. The lovely Laura. She has won this amazing skein of Caithness Croft yarn in the Leibster DK, which is 50% Shetland, 50% alpaca, and it's in the grey colourway, and it's 210 metres, and it is squishy goodness. And also this really awesome needle gauge. I nearly said needle minder, but I don't think that's the right thing. But now I'm wondering, what is a needle minder? Is it this? I'm going to go with needle gauge. So that's really awesome. I'm just realising if I square this up really well, you can see my eyes through the holes. Okay, I'm going to stop. So you've got this really awesome needle gauge from Caithness Croft as well, or Bearded Shield as you may know him by. So well done, Laura. Please contact me on Instagram because I know where you are on Instagram, and we can get this sent out to you. Probably this week. If not, it's probably going to be, let me check the calendar for payday. It might actually be a couple of weeks away before I can get it in the post. Apologies, but it just, so it can tie in with payday. And actually that would work really well because I'm off that week. So it means I can actually get to the post office. So I hope you don't mind, but it could be a couple of weeks before I get it in the post. But well done, Laura. You have won this amazing giveaway, and thank you again to John of Bearded Shield for his kind donation towards the podcast. Okay, so just a bit of chatter from here on. So I completely understand if nobody wants to listen to this bit, but I'm hoping some of you will stick around to watch the end because I feel like this is exciting. Scott and I are finally planning our wedding. I know that I've done this whole podcast without my engagement ring on, but that's purely because my finger is still a bit swollen up. I done a lot of cleaning yesterday, and I at one point really started to panic because I could feel my finger, like I could feel the tightness in my finger. So I took my ring off yesterday and it's still sitting in our bedroom. So I haven't put it back on today because my finger is still a bit swollen and I still have some cleaning to do. So that's nothing for y'all to worry about. The ring is still there, and we have picked a date, but it's not confirmed yet because we have not picked a location, but we have started viewing venues, which is really exciting. We viewed a venue last weekend where we were actually gifted some afternoon tea after the viewing. And the venue was lovely, but we don't think it's quite what we're after. It's not... When we were viewing it online, we were kind of like, it's alright. But we thought maybe it looks better in person than it does in photos, so we went along to the in-person viewing anyway, and then they gifted us some afternoon tea, which was really, really lovely, and they catered for gluten-free as well, which was fantastic. So we have another viewing this coming weekend, so this is Sunday, so next weekend we have another viewing, and then the weekend of Halloween we have another viewing as well. So that's really exciting, but also really kind of scary and a little bit stressful already. We're also keeping our minds open to having a less elaborate wedding. Just basically down to like finances and stuff, because weddings cost a lot of money. Like, we were quoted $8,500 for the venue we just saw, which is a lot of money. Like, that might not be a lot to some people, but that's a lot to Scott and I, considering we do want a house as well, because we are renting where we are just now. So we'll see how the next couple of venues go and the viewings there. We're going along to one wedding event, and then we have a viewing because we couldn't get a time slot at the wedding event. So we'll see how those go. Is that it? Is that all my news? I thought I had more to talk about. I'm now just kind of like scouring the depths of my brain to see if I've got anything else. Oh, I've been hunting high and low for more Halloween stuff, like more Halloween decorations, and I fell in love with two that you can get from Argos/Sainsbury's, and it's the 3 Jack Skellington heads, or you've got a pumpkin Jack Skellington and then Sally, but they just don't have any. There is none in stock. And I also fell in love with 3 ornaments that you can get in Asda, which I have yet to find, that's Jack Skellington, Sally and Zero. So that's the Nightmare Before Christmas for anyone that might not be familiar. So I'm really gutted about that. Like, we were so hopeful we'd be able to get them at our Sainsbury's here in like the Glasgow area, but nobody has one for miles and miles and miles. The closest one that had stock was 350 miles away, and that they weren't offering delivery. So we're not going to drive 350 miles for a Halloween ornament that, to be fair, would be up all year round. So, a bit gutted about that. There's another Halloween ornament I really, really want from Home Bargains, and it's a clear glass pumpkin jar. Can't find it. All the really amazing decorations I can't find, and I'm gutted. I'm really gutted. So I just have to make do with what I can find, which is not very much, and I don't think I'm going to be any closer to having my dream home, which is essentially just a Halloween home. But that's okay. That's fine. We'll make do. I have to. It's not like I can just click my fingers and have these ornaments. But yeah, if you're lucky enough to find them in your local Sainsbury's or Argos, please know I am extremely jealous. And you're extremely lucky if you get them. Yeah. So I think that's all. I can't think of anything else. Oh, I had this here for a reason. So the new Shawlography is live, or at least Clue 1 is live for Stephen West. And I watched the spoiler. Not gonna lie, I watched the spoiler. And I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence. There's a part of just Clue 1 that, or at least the clue for this week that's out. There's at least one part of it that I'm not sold on. I just don't like it. Which makes me think if I don't like that, I'm probably not going to like other aspects of it. And I'm going to wait and see what the final object looks like to decide if it's something that I want to take part in. But then I got thinking that you don't have to do the mystery knit along just because it's Stephen West. Blasphemy, but I said it. Don't cancel me. But for those that maybe do like Stephen West and need a bit of a kick, I've been wearing my exploration station a lot. This is mostly the shawl that I will grab and go, because I love the colours that I chose, I love the shape of it, I love all the different aspects of it. There's something different for people to look at. Sorry. And this, folks, is why you have juice when you're a podcaster. So I've decided that I want to make another exploration station. My friend Michelle made, I want to say, her second one. Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong. And she done it on needles bigger than what was recommended. I'm pretty sure she done hers on 5mm needles. I think. Michelle, I'm going to be in touch to ask. And it came out big. Like, hers is big. And I have decided I would like to make another exploration station. That being said, I have just found what was a mystery knit along. The last clue has just come out and I have seen the finished crochet shawl. And I have messaged my friend Teresa, looking at you Teresa, to see if she would want to do it as a sort of crochet along that is now no longer a mystery on the podcasts. So if anyone's curious, check out her podcast, 33rd Street Knits. She is awesome. I love her. So we'll see. I love the look of the exploration station and I did enjoy knitting it. Oh, seriously. I really enjoyed knitting the exploration station. I do want to make another one. I want to make a big one. I just want to be wrapped in coziness and comfort. And it gives me an opportunity to play around with some colours and use up some stash. Oh, I'm sorry. We're using the word collection. I'm part of a virtual knitting group and we are using the word yarn collection instead of yarn stash. So yeah, you might see another one of these coming down the pipeline at some point, and I'm probably going to use less pink than I've used in this one. But I really love the contrast between the lightness of the pinks and the tealy blue. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't 100% made my mind up, and I would like to finish some of the projects I have on the go. Sorry, I'm just noticing all these little fibre baubles. I really need a gleaner. And I was saying to some of the friends on my virtual knitting group last night that I almost got a gleaner when I was in New York with Scott. And I turned up at the yarn shop that said they had them. And she had literally sold the last gleaner 30 minutes before I walked into the shop. I was gutted. Really gutted, because it's not easy for us to get the official gleaner here in the UK. So we have to get like an off-brand, or we can get the cashmere combs. We can get those. But I woke up to a message from my friend Zoe this morning saying that she got an advert for Lakeland's own kind of version of the gleaner. So I might need to invest in one of those. But yeah, I've just, because it's now officially sweater weather, because the weather kind of dropped, we got to 9 degrees, and on Tuesday I think we're due to get 6 degrees. So it's now officially wrap up season. I've been wearing hats, I've been wearing my shawls, I'm wearing my woolens, and it makes me extremely happy. But now I want more woolens. Right, I'm going to disappear because something is annoying and irritating my throat. It's lunchtime as well. And I now need to edit this and get it online. And I need to put a couple more rows in that blanket. I pointed, but then I realised I put it in the bag. And yeah, I just generally need to tidy up now. When you're podcasting, you do make a fair amount of mess. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this bit of a rambly podcast with very little direction. Laura, if you could drop me a message on Instagram, that would be fantastic. And for everyone that is watching, if you have liked this podcast, please think about subscribing and hitting the wee bell thing, or even just giving it a thumbs up. That would be really helpful for me. And yeah, I'm going to go put a movie or something on the TV, or watch something on YouTube on the TV, because it makes it bigger and it's so much better. I'm going to go tidy up the mess that I've made. I'm going to go make some lunch. I'm going to edit the podcast. I am so sorry for all this coughing, but something is irritating my throat. And I don't know what it is. Okay, we're done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all staying safe, and until next time, bye.